Lifestyle of excess. The 1920s go by the name the Roaring Twenties. This is because of the great amount of changes that occurred for the better. The 1920s were known as a time of thriving and freedom for young Americans. After a long, depressing 4 years at war, people were excited to start living their life. With the men home from war, the start of happy, prosperous families was now a possibility. More jobs were created and people were earning a lot of money. It was also a time of creativity and innovation that allowed people to live more luxurious lives. The new life. The years after the war were a time of prosperity and growth. With so much demand for everyday products, businesses were expanding and more jobs were being created, which led to higher wages. New technologies were being invented, which made many aspects of life easier and more enjoyable. In 1908, Henry Ford built the first automobile, the Model T, and created the assembly line, which boosted the job market in America. By the 1920s, the automobile was an affordable means of transportation that allowed people to go out and explore different parts of the country. During this time, Ford sold more than 15 million cars, and the rate of automobile ownership increased from 1 car per 15 Americans to 1 car per 5. The Model T was also very affordable, being only $260. It was in this era that the radio also gained in popularity and eventually became a household technology, allowing people to listen to music like jazz. According to History.com, the first commercial radio station in the U.S. was Pittsburgh's KDKA. 3 years later, there were more than 500 radio stations in America, spreading information, entertainment, and advertisement. By the end of the 1920s, there were radios in more than 12 million households. Appliances like the dishwasher and vacuum made housework easier, which allowed families to have more free time to do things they liked. With the growing economy, many people also bought stocks, which increased their wealth and gave them more disposable income to spend money on themselves. These technologies shaped the way Americans lived forever. Jazz bands and flappers. With everybody having money, people needed something to do with it. Clubs were very popular and consisted of drinking, smoking, and dancing to jazz, the music of the 20s. The era displayed unprecedented advancement in women's rights. With the 19th Amendment in 1920, women gained the right to vote. They also started to change their wardrobes. Women wore tighter and shorter dresses that revealed more skin. Females also gained a lot of freedom in public. They started to smoke and drink in public with men. They were also allowed to leave the house without a male escort and kiss in public. The women of this era were called flappers. Jazz music brought new dances like the Charleston and the foxtrot, and when couples danced slow, they danced closer together. Besides visiting a bar, people also went to the cinema for entertainment. Movies at this time were silent with subtitles to read, but in 1927, talkies were created and allowed viewers to experience films with sound. The Jazz Singer was the first of many talking films and changed the cinematic experience forever. The advancements of women's rights and entertainment changed America's life for the better, being more enjoyable and fun. Relating to The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby was set in the 1920s, an era where the rich upper class spent money on everything. James Gatz, also known as Jay Gatsby, was a poor boy that wanted a life of excess to impress the love of his life, Daisy. He earns tons of money from illegally selling alcohol, then buys a mansion across the lake from Daisy. He throws many parties and imports expensive wines and shirts from all over the world in hope of getting Daisy's attention. Jay Gatsby lives a life of excess and wastes all his money on things he does not like just to impress a girl. Another character that lives a life of excess is Tom Buchanan. He spends his money on a nice apartment in the city just so that he can have a place to stay with Myrtle Wilson, his secret lover. Tom also owns a fancy yellow car. He did not need a fancy car, but he bought one because he cares what people think. He wants to be considered wealthy and have everyone be impressed by his possessions. Daisy is a woman in the story that does not represent the women of the 1920s. Even though women had much more freedom than they used to, Daisy says at the beginning of the book, "I hope she'll be a fool. That's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful little fool." This signifies how Daisy thinks the best thing her daughter can be is a stupid girl. She does not believe in women's independence and freedom. A female character that shows this independence is Jordan Baker. She is a golfer that earns her own money and believes women are more than fools. All the characters in The Great Gatsby perfectly portrayed how the wealthy lived in the 1920s. Overall, the 1920s were an amazing time to be alive. There were inventions like the automobile, radio, and other house appliances that made many aspects of life more enjoyable. People could drive across the country or listen to music as they pleased. The 1920s were also a period of growth for women as they received the right to vote and changed the way they were seen in public. Many new types of entertainment arose, like talkies and jazz clubs, where both men and women were welcome. The novel, The Great Gatsby, demonstrates the lifestyle of excess many people had in the 20s through its characters and their actions. All in all, the Roaring Twenties, the Jazz Age, the Flapper Era, and the Golden Twenties are many amazing ways of describing the luxurious life Americans had in the 1920s.